Thank you everyone, please be seated. Amazing dress, amazing. Thank you gentlemen, you may also be seated, thank you. Yeah, you're fine, that's fine, it's later. You're fine. Well, good afternoon everyone, and a very warm welcome to you all as we come together to celebrate Tom and Natasha's marriage here at this beautiful venue of Oxnead Hall. I think it's an understatement to say it's wonderful after so many months of separation from family and friends. We can finally come together without restriction for such a happy occasion. I think it's true to say the pandemic has caused us all to think very differently about things, certainly to appreciate our lives and the people we share our lives with. And I think the events of the last year and a half really does make this day all the more poignant and precious that you can share in this occasion together. We also take a moment to think of those who either can't be here in person today or who are no longer with us, thinking especially of Natasha's dad, Sean. In his memory, we're going to light a candle to symbolise his presence in your memories, in your hearts, and most importantly, to acknowledge the role he played in Natasha's life. Now, we've got one candle lit, and because we're outdoors with a bit of a breeze and some lighters that don't seem to want to play ball, this could be easier said than done, but do bear with us. Do you want to light it, Natasha? So today is, of course, a time to celebrate Tom and Natasha's marriage, but it's also a celebration of the bond they share with each of you here today, with their parents, their siblings, family and friends. And it's an opportunity for them to say thank you for the friendship, the love and the support you've each given them over the years. And quite simply, they want this to be a day which is just fun and relaxed, filled with lots of happiness and laughter, and creating memories to be shared and enjoyed for many years to come. So before Tom and Natasha reaffirm their vows to each other, we're going to take a few moments to look back on their story to this moment in time. So this love story takes us back to October 2017, when Tom and Natasha enjoyed their first date in London. Now, apparently they met in Fulham and they walked to Putney for a meal. And Tom had said to Natasha that if things weren't going so well by the time they got to Putney, he'd push her in the Thames. And in truth, Natasha was quite reluctant to meet Tom that night. She'd had a long, hard day at work, and it was really tempting just to stay on that bus and go straight home rather than get off at their agreed meeting point. But despite her apathy, Natasha did get off at the relevant stop, and she says she's very glad that she did. So they went to a Thai restaurant in Putney and they ordered prawn pad Thai, which turned out to be just a massive plate of plain noodles with one giant prawn. And eating that one big prawn wasn't ideal date food, so I believe Tom took the prawn home instead. Natasha says she conveniently popped to the loo when the bill came, so Tom was left with quite a big bill for a first date, but she paid the next time. And at the end of that date, Tom asked if he could see Natasha again the next day, and she was very happy to say yes. And they ended the date with their first kiss, and then they saw each other every night that week before Natasha went on a trip to Amsterdam and then on to New Zealand, and Tom went to Canada. Now, it was clear to Natasha just how romantic Tom was, even in those very early days. I think it was on that first date, Tom asked Natasha if she'd like to do his ironing. Always up for a challenge, Natasha said yes. Now, with ironing not being a regular pastime for Natasha, she said she did a pretty terrible job, and after a month or so, she half gave up and was half sacked by Tom. I asked Tom and Natasha just to tell me what their first impressions were of each other. Now, Natasha says she thought Tom was just too good looking for her, but very cheeky and intelligent. And she could tell immediately what a kind person he was, and very family orientated. Tom's first impression of Natasha was just how beautiful she looks when she smiles. And he said that first day, despite a day at work and catching the bus to meet him, she looked so pretty, and something just felt very right about Natasha from that first date. Natasha told me she just loved how their relationship progressed quickly, but there were never any doubts, and she felt so secure with him. They met each other's parents within 2 months. They travelled to the other side of the world together in 3 months, and they moved in together after just 4 months. And then after a couple of years as a couple, it was time to take things to the next level. So it was August 2019, and Tom and Natasha had just flown back from Copenhagen, where Tom had amazingly just completed his first Ironman competition. It was a lovely summer's evening, and they popped along to Richmond Park just to say hi to their running club. And then they walked to Richmond Hill, where there was a beautiful sunset. And Natasha kept stopping to take photos of Tom with this fantastic sunset backdrop. She had no idea what was about to happen when Tom just went down some steps and Natasha followed. And then Tom popped the question, "Will you marry me?" To which Natasha replied, "Of course." She says she did feel a bit sorry for him having to go down on one knee after doing the Ironman the day before, and she did have to give him a helping hand back to his feet. I asked Tom and Natasha just to describe what values and characteristics they most like and admire in each other. I've already mentioned this, but Natasha reiterated she loves how Tom is so family focused. She describes him as being very hardworking, very thoughtful and funny. He always tries to do the right thing, and he values very highly being a good partner. Tom says Natasha is loving to family and friends and the dogs. She's really friendly, really outgoing, and also very resilient. It makes Tom proud just seeing how Natasha adapts to any misfortune, and she just gets on with things until all is well again. Tom says they share a similar outlook in life, and they often just find themselves knowing what the other person is thinking. And finally, Tom says he finds Natasha naturally hilarious and feels privileged to witness most of her daily dramas. So of course it's not all rose-coloured specks. I asked them to tell me what little things annoy them in the other person. Natasha says it's when Tom says, can do instead of just a simple yes or no. But she did admit that actually not very much about Tom annoys her, and she says she can just mostly laugh at his bad habits. Now, Tom says that Natasha's most frustrating trait is asking for his help with something that she can easily do herself, such as asking for Tom to pass her something that's a foot away from her, even when he's in the next room. And Tom says as much as he tries, he finds he just can't refuse because he just wants to help all the time and make Natasha's life as enjoyable as possible. And finally, I asked Tom and Natasha to tell me what their shared hopes and dreams are for the future. Natasha says just to be settled. They've already done so much together. They've travelled all over the world. They've worked the London job and they've lived a pretty fast-paced life. They've run marathons, they've set up a running club and so much more besides. And now she just would like for them to be able to enjoy their time together, to set up home and just make it their own. Now, Tom was explaining to me that he and Natasha decided to move back here to Norfolk to be closer to family. And he said they just want to live their lives as they wish, and they share that mindset of making the most of the time they have. They both seek happiness, and they know that when they're together with family close by, that happiness will always exist. It struck me that marriage is probably a bit like preparing for a marathon. It takes preparation, it takes understanding, and it requires a real ongoing commitment and a lot of hard work. Some days will feel impossible, others will feel like an absolute breeze. But success comes from putting in that effort required. And when you do, the rewards really are immeasurable. There's no greater feeling than crossing a finish line. Well, today is not the finish line, but the beginning of a whole new adventure. An adventure we hope will last for many, many happy and healthy years to come. Before Tom and Natasha exchange their vows, it's a pleasure to invite Lindsay to come and share with us her reading.
Always love each other. If you can be as close and as happy as today, yet be secure enough to grow and change along the way. If you can keep for you alone your love as man and wife, yet find the time to share the joy with others in your life. If you can be as one and walk through marriage hand in hand, yet still support the goals and dreams that each of you have planned. If you can dare to always go your separate ways together, then all the wonder of today will stay with you forever.
Oh, thanks, Lindsay. Thank you. Thank you, Lindsay. That reading leads us perfectly into the wedding vows. We are, of course, gathered here today to celebrate the marriage of Tom and Natasha. Their love for each other has grown and strengthened over the last, nearly 4 years. And today they will reaffirm their bond as a couple committed to spending the rest of their lives together. Tom and Natasha have completed the formalities required to legalise their marriage, and they stand here with you now, their family and friends, to publicly make their vows of commitment. And the promises they're about to make to each other will form that foundation for their future life as husband and wife. Marriage really is one of the most important things that two people will ever commit to in a lifetime. And it is our privilege to be here with them as they make this very significant step together. Marriage is a commitment born out of the love which exists between two people. But to make a marriage work, it does take more than just that love. It takes trust to know with absolute certainty that you only want the very best for each other. It takes dedication to stay open, to learn and to grow, even at those times it feels difficult to do so. And finally, it takes faith to go forward together without knowing what the future may hold. So Tom and Natasha, keeping those things in mind, I'm going to ask you to respond "I do" to the following pledges of commitment. There's 2 pledges each, just responding "I do" at the end of each. So starting with you, Tom. Tom, do you promise to share your life with Natasha as an equal partner and to continue to build a loving and caring relationship based on trust and respect?
I do.
And do you pledge your total commitment to Natasha and promise to be true to her for as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Thank you, Tom. Your turn, Natasha. Natasha, do you promise to share your life with Tom as an equal partner and to continue to build a loving and caring relationship based on trust and respect?
I do.
And do you pledge your total commitment to Tom and promise to be true to him for as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Thank you, Natasha. So Tom and Natasha are now going to exchange their vows to each other. And because the sentiment of these words is so personal, Tom and Natasha will read their vows directly to each other. So if you just turn and face each other. Okay, and Tom, I'm going to hand this to you. That's your vow.
I, Tom Dilru, stand here today to renew my vows to you, Natasha. You are my best friend, and I promise to be a loving partner in our marriage, sharing my hopes and dreams with you as we build our lives together. I will continue to comfort and strengthen you through life's joys and sorrows. May our home be forever filled with laughter, happiness, and love. I will be supportive and make our family's love and happiness my priority, always.
Okay, Natasha, yours is literally just at the top of this page, I think.
Tom. When I first met you, you instantly made me feel safe and secure. That I was no longer alone but part of a team. I hope you feel like this too. But I promise to you, I'll always make you feel like I'm on your side, especially when life gets tough, as it has been for us the last year. I promise to not only make you feel loved, but for you to always feel my friendship. We're best friends after all, apart from Archie. I want you to know that I appreciate you and I will never take you for granted. I will support you in being your own person, your goals and dreams. Tom, I love you and I always will do.
Oh, well done. Thank you. You okay? So Tom and Natasha will now affirm those vows with a promise to each other to acknowledge the wearing of their wedding rings. The wedding ring is, of course, a timeless emblem of love and commitment, and the symbolism of the ring is associated with the symbolism of its shape, a circle. Throughout history, circles have been used as a metaphor for concepts of wholeness and eternity. So we need the ring, please. Okay, so if you just let Tom take the ring. Brilliant, thank you very much. So if you just turn to face each other, and then if you just hold the ring at the tip of Natasha's fingers, you say the words and then push it on at the end, okay? If you just turn slightly, Tom, just no, the other way, just so your photographer can get you. Natasha, I give you this ring.
Natasha, I give you this ring.
As a symbol of our marriage.
As a symbol of our marriage.
And as a token.
And as a token.
Of my love, trust and commitment.
Of my love, trust and commitment.
I promise to care for you and comfort you.
I promise to care for you and comfort you.
To give you my love, friendship and support.
To give you my love, friendship and support.
And to respect and cherish you.
And to respect and cherish you.
Throughout our lives together.
Throughout our lives together.
Okay. Gorgeous rings, Natasha. Brilliant. Okay. Tom is already wearing his wedding ring, but Natasha will now reaffirm with her own vow to Tom. So repeating after me, Natasha. Tom, please wear this ring.
Tom, please wear this ring.
As a symbol of our marriage.
As a symbol of our marriage.
And as a token.
And as a token.
Of my love, trust and commitment.
Of my love, trust and commitment.
I promise to care for you and comfort you.
I promise to care for you and comfort you.
To give you my love, friendship and support.
To give you my love, friendship and support.
And to respect and cherish you.
And to respect and cherish you.
Throughout our lives together.
Throughout our lives together.
Brilliant, okay. Now just stay holding hands. So Tom and Natasha, when you look at those rings on your hands, may you always be reminded of this moment, of your commitment and of the love that you share so deeply for each other. In the presence of your family and friends, you have pledged to share your lives together as equal partners. You have made your vows to each other, sealed by the wearing of your wedding rings. And as you embark on this new chapter in your journey together, I know I speak on behalf of everyone gathered here in saying we hope the love you already share will just grow ever stronger throughout the years to come. And may you always feel the very warm embrace of love and friendship that holds you both so tightly today. It gives me the greatest pleasure to now present you to all your family and your friends as husband and wife. Congratulations.
Take me back to the nights we felt alive, picking up the pieces on a summer night. I didn't know that I would feel just like my heart's on fire whenever I'm with you. 'Cause we go back in time to thrills I miss and all the things I wish we did. All I know is that I need somebody like you, 'cause I can't waste another night sitting here alone, hoping for your voice on the telephone. I know it's a supercut as you walk away, playing in my mind all the things I never close my eyes and the sky's on fire. I can't waste another night sitting here alone. We can do it all again and I'll never let you go.
me back to another sunrise, back when all I ever needed was by my side. You're a star brighter than Venus, I'm your satellite whenever I'm with you. Cause we go back in time to thrills I miss, and all the things I wish we did. All I know is that I need somebody like you. Cause I can't waste another night sitting here alone, hoping for your voice on the telephone. I know it's a supercut as you walk away, playing in my mind all the things I never close my eyes. And the sky's on fire,